Hope everybody is doing well. So here we are in week 13. So those of you who submitted your essays on time should have feedback by this point. I am still working on annotated bibliographies, but things are looking pretty good so far. So now we have moved from the argument analysis essay into your argumentative research essay. So this is the part where you get to make your argument, okay? So what we have on deck this week is your outline for your essay. So the way this will work, you will create a formal sentence outline and submit it, and I'll give you feedback. Then you'll work on your draft, and then I have a link in this week's folder for you to sign up for a time for us to go over your draft together on Monday or Tuesday. So let's talk about the outline and how this will all work, and then I will post another video going over the research paper rubric and some drafting suggestions. So a formal sentence outline will have a working title. Remember that when I say working, that means it can change. A working thesis, your topic sentences for the main areas of your essay, and supporting points for each of those areas. You can go further into detail if you want to, but you do not have to. You just are required to have the title, the thesis, the the topic sentences, and your supporting points. If you want to go further into detail, I'll show you how to do that. Now, when I say formal outline, this means we're using the Roman numerals and the capital letters and all that stuff. I've provided a sample in this week's folder. You can use it as a template, or you can just look at it to see if what you're doing lines up with that. So I'll go ahead and share the sample outline and talk you through it. I do also want to mention there are many ways you can organize your research essay. Some people like to address their opposition as they move through the paper. Some people like to do it all in one section. The example I'm going to show you does it all in one section. Depending on what you talk about, you may need to lay more groundwork. You may need to give more background information. If it's something that people are really familiar with and is really an evident issue, you may need to do less of that and spend more time on your argument and dealing with your opposition. So let's take a look. So as you are working on your outline, I do want to point out, I'm not worried about the alignment of your Roman numerals. You will see that Word was not cooperating, okay? I'm not worried about the alignment as much as I am the content and getting everything in there. So let's go through. First of all, you will have your title here, okay? It will not say sample outline. I started putting sample outline on this because a lot of students would just not fill in a title, so I was hoping that would get people's attention to fill in their title. So in Roman numeral 1, that will be your introduction. You don't need to outline your introduction, just give me your thesis. This is a longer essay, so if your thesis is a little longer than your last couple, that's okay. Here, I was working with a problem solution kind of layout, so I listed the problem and then listed the solution for my thesis. If you're going a problem solution route, I strongly recommend you go that way. If you are just stating an argument, just state the argument. Remember that you don't need to use first person. You don't need to use the I thinks and the I feels. If that helps you draft, okay, but go back in and edit those out. You want to present a strong thesis. So then we have background information. So you'll see I have Roman numeral 2, more coffee please, and then my topic sentence for that section. So then I have a supporting point. Your supporting points do not have to be complete sentences. You can stop with A and B. However, I went ahead and put in my sources I was going to use here. So 1 and 2. If you have a B, you have to have an A. If you have a 2, you have to have a 1. If you have a 1, you have to have a 2. If you have an A, you have to have a B. Okay? Any section that you break down has to have at least 2 supports. So I go on in section 3 and talk about the causes of the problem we're having. Now, you do not have to have equal information for each of your points though. So I have an A, that means I must have a B, but I can have a 1 and 2 for my A and not have to have 1 for my B, okay? Some of your points are just gonna have less information, and that's okay. So then I laid out my solution. Then I addressed my opposition. If you go wildly into detail, if you go into Roman numeral and then capital letter and then number, and then you need to go further, you can use a lowercase letter, okay? So then I come back and I reinforce my point. Don't end your essay dealing with your opposition, okay? Your reader will be thinking about the people who disagree with you and not how great your argument is, all right? So make sure you come back and reinforce your point if you choose to deal with your opposition all in one section. And then I have my conclusion. You don't have to lay out your conclusion. Now, if you're overwhelmed with getting your outline started, lay out your information. I talked to you about note-taking last week. That can be, if you have index cards or if you have a document and you group all of your information together in sections, look at what your big points are and then use that to help you lay out that outline. So this outline will let you get feedback before you have your full-blown draft, but you can certainly start working on your draft after you submit your outline. You don't have to wait for me. I want you to have a decent amount of content for us to look over together next week. Excuse me. So we will, I'll get feedback to you on these really quickly. The beauty of an outline is I can respond to it very quickly in a way that I can't with an essay draft. And I want us to sit down and go through drafts together next week. So this will come back to you pretty quickly. I do want to mention I've been extending deadlines through weekends because it's been very difficult for me to get all of your work returned over the course of the weekend, as you've no doubt noticed. And I will be gone this weekend, so I wanted to make sure that I gave you all the time that you needed. That said, if you get your outline in before 10 a.m. on Thursday, tomorrow, I will have it back to you before I'm gone this weekend. Okay, but don't sweat it. If you need to take that time until Monday, do it. If you do need to take until Monday, I would recommend signing up for a Tuesday conference so that you'll have time to create your draft. So I've also provided a rubric to help you. Where did I put it? Here it is. So with your rubric, make sure you have a title and that it's present and it's relevant and original. It shouldn't be a research paper. It shouldn't be sample outline. Make sure your thesis statement is present and specific and it addresses the problem and solution or makes a clear argument. Topic sentences should be present, complete, relevant, and match the contents of your paragraph. I will point out here, I say paragraph here, your sections of your outline may turn into more than one paragraph, and that is okay. Some areas you're going to have a lot to talk about. Some areas you're going to have less. Some of these areas may be more paragraphs. Supporting points are present and relevant. Your organization should be there. It should be good. Your content, you should have the problem or the argument identified and explained, your solution or stance posed, and your opposition addressed. In your formatting, you should use numerals, letters, numbers, lowercase letters properly for your levels. This is more of a checklist for you to look at and say, okay, do I have everything? Of course, this is also how I'll grade. Speaking of grading, I wanted to mention that some students are not looking at feedback. So you do get the grading comment that you see when you go to your grade center, but remember that I put comments directly on your essay, and for essays, I return the rubric so you can see where all of the points were. So please remember to look at that feedback. And this isn't just this class, it's been in all of my classes. I think folks are getting busy, people are getting rushed and forgetting, oh yeah, I can go in there and see all of that. So please take your time and look at that feedback. So going back to outlines, one of the great functions of your outline is that it will help you organize your essay. When I was talking about note cards and I was talking about putting those notes in a document and then pulling that apart, one of the great things you can do with your notes is after you have your outline and you have everything laid out, you can key your notes to the outline. So like where I have Roman numeral 2.A, if I know that I have notes that I want to use for that section, I can label my notes. Then I can put my notes in the order of my outline, and then I can write my essay. And it's a much simpler process when you have the outline and you've labeled your notes. So if you feel overwhelmed or you feel like it's going to be hard to draft, please take your time to label your notes and have a thorough outline. I also wanted to say, please make sure you submit an outline for the sentence outline and not a draft. I can't return feedbacks on drafts quickly enough to make that a separate assignment. We're sitting down looking at drafts together next week. So work on your outline and get that in. Sign up for a time for us to meet on Monday or Tuesday. If none of the times on the list work, please send me an email so that we can find a time that will work to go over your draft together. I want to make sure that we do that. I'm requiring it. It is so helpful. When we meet, if we meet online, you'll send me your draft before the meeting. I'll share it on the screen during our meeting. You can let me know what your areas of concern are. We'll go through that draft together. I'll put comments on the draft, and I can record our session if we meet online and send you the session recording. So if you forget something or you say, I don't remember what we said to do about this, you can go back to it. You are also welcome to come to my office with a printed copy of your draft for the meeting. So just let me know on that sign-up sheet which option you're going with, if you are going with the in-person or virtual option, so that I will have us prepared accordingly. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you about these essays. It's super helpful to go through them. You don't have to have all of your essay done when we meet, but the more you have done, obviously, the more feedback you can get. I always tell students, come with something that you've written. Even if you don't like it or if you're worried about it, please come with something you've written, because then we have a place to start. So I will be following up with a video that covers the rubric for the essay and those special quote examples that I included in this week's folder, the block quote, the quote within a quote, and an indirect citation. Of course, if you have questions about those things, I'm always happy to work with you. You're welcome to drop into office hours or make an appointment. As I noted earlier in the video and in Blackboard, I will be out of the office. I'll be working from home Thursday morning. I'll be out of the office from noon on Thursday until Monday morning. So don't panic if you don't hear from me. I will respond to all emails sent during that window when I return. I'm not abandoning you. I will be back on Monday. So I hope everybody's doing well. Please take care, and I will be back with another video shortly.